Three, two, one. Say, use your heart and not your eyes. Baby, just relax your mind. You got time and I got time. Oh, say, use your heart and hold on. I don't think those are the words. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry the third. Welcome. As y'all see, I'm back in New York. I'm back in the city. I'm back in the bit. Hello, how are y'all doing? I am great. It takes way too long to set this setup up, and I'm going to have to figure a way to set this setup up more efficiently, because it takes way too long to do this. If this is your first time watching, hello, or listening, hello. Did we do this thing every Wednesday and Sunday? Well, we're going to get to that in a little bit. But we usually do this thing every Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Arts Block Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at Eric Curry III. If this is your first time listening, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. That is on YouTube. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. All right. What are we talking about today, Eric? There's a lot to talk about. We have a lot to get into. I have my handy dandy Safari up. I got my notes. I got everything here. This is going to be a huge deep dive day. We're going to talk about Drake's leaked messages. Dun dun dun. We're going to talk about Billboard's top artist of the no. Okay, so here's the thing with that, right? I tried to look for Billboard's top artists of the 21st century, but it said I had to be a pro member of a pro subscriber to Billboard to look at that shit. And again, like I said last time, I hate when I have to pay to read the news. Why would I I hate that I have to go through a paywall to read the news. That's so stupid. And that's not even real news, nigga. Billboard, you are not Fox 5. You are, nigga, make that public for just the regular people. But so instead of talking about that, we're going to talk about Rolling Stone's top 10 rap albums of the 21st century. We're going to talk about Ray Vaughn and his Heart Part 6 freestyle in the West Coast, and how I believe that y'all are the problem. The West is the problem. But before we get to how you are the problem, let's try to figure out a solution for LA and all the people out there. Prayers over there. Prayers to everybody that has been affected by the wildfires in LA. Prayers to everybody that has been whose families have been affected, whose houses have been lost. Thoughts and prayers to you all. I've been doing a lot of reading and research on a lot of the things that's been going on in California, and a lot of the stuff that I have been reading and researching and finding out I did not know prior to these wildfires happening. I didn't know that in California, the insurance companies are pulling from a lot of people. So a lot of people don't have insurance on their homes because their insurance companies are pulling because, hey, these wildfires are going to come up, and we for stuff like this, right? Because they didn't want to do all the payback and all that stuff. So a lot of people in California, they don't have house insurance, and specifically fire insurance. It's this rapper by the name of DDG. We talk about DDG a lot on the pod. He was on stream on the phone, and he had fire insurance, and he was calling to see if he had fire insurance on his house, and he didn't, right? And people was like, oh, why would you call now to see if you had fire insurance? Why wouldn't you have fire insurance previously on a house? Well, because LA was pulling insurance from people. So he probably did have insurance at one point in time, but if you weren't I think it's if you weren't grandfathered in, it's the same, right? If you weren't grandfathered into that, right? If your parents didn't own a home, if your cousin, sister's, mother's grandfather didn't own a home, right? Then then you're cooked. You're done, right? It's nothing you can do. The insurance is going to pull you from under the rug, or you cannot, or you just won't have the insurance, which is crazy because you need insurance to buy a house. You need house insurance to buy a house. So LA are the literally people in California are buying houses without having house insurance, and now people's houses are burning down to a crisp, and they don't have insurance to help them or help cover them because the insurance companies are being assholes. And on top of that, right, which is kind of even like the crazier thought to all of this, is that oddly the world isn't being very sensitive to a lot of the people who are losing their homes. And I mean to a lot of the more famous and people who we might deem as wealthy, those people, we are not being very sensitive or very kind to them losing their homes, right? It's a lot of people I see online saying, oh, well, you have money, X, Y, and Z, you can buy another home, right? You have X amount of dollars, you can buy another home. That's nothing to you, right? Hey, we're talking about $1 million homes. And not only are we talking about $1 million homes, like millions of dollars, right, spent into the home alone, we're talking about furniture for however many rooms, however many bedrooms. We're talking about memories. We're talking about clothes. We're talking about shoes. We're talking about TVs. We're talking about all of these things, right? And like I said, like, let's not forget the memories that are had in your home. Like, imagine your childhood home that you grew up in since however long, right? It ends up burning down, and all the memories that you have with that home go with it. So, hey, is people's investment properties are burning. Like, prayers to everybody in LA, everybody who's affected. Prayers to everybody who's staying. Shout out to all the first responders in LA. Shout out to all the firefighters. Shout out to all of the community for coming out, helping out, put out fires, helping out with food, helping out with a whole bunch of stuff. You guys are seen. You guys are loved. We see you over here at the Arts Block Podcast, and I didn't want this pod to go by without just giving the people of LA my love and know that they have support in me, because that's crazy, man. They said they never seen a fire like that before. Places in LA that has never seen fire before. So apparently, I didn't know this either. California came out and was like 80% of people who live in California have never seen a wildfire before, because the wildfires don't even hit these parts of LA. However, these fires are spreading to parts of LA that aren't accustomed to getting wildfires. And I found out that I think like the water reserve or something, where like I think it held like something like it held a whole bunch of fucking water that would have helped put out a lot of these fires, or could have helped put out a lot of these fires. It was empty right before the fire started. So right before the fire started, the fucking water reserve or whatever was empty in California, which is crazy. And also, come to find out, I found out that one nigga owns most of the water in Los Angeles, which is also crazy. I'm just finding out a lot, doing a lot of research, doing a lot of reading on this thing. But again, prayers, if you can help or donate to any causes that's happening in LA, if you can donate money, food, clothes, just to any causes in LA, in California, please do so. I'm donating a couple of things. I'm donating a couple clothes and things out there. So yes, please do so. Families are losing everything. So please, if you can spare anything, that will help. Also, if you know anybody out in that area in LA, in California, please check up on your folks, check up on your people, just to make sure that they are okay, making sure that they either the fires aren't going to hit them, or they are evacuated or evacuating. So please check on your people, make sure they're cool, make sure they're straight. All right, let's get into the bullshit. let's get to. I can't be serious on here for too long. I feel like if I'm serious on here for too long, it starts getting sad and it starts getting depressing. Like, I can't be super serious on here for too long. Let's get into it. Drake. I wish, like Ray J, one wish. My one wish is to come on here and to talk about Drake. And the talks will be, he released one of the greatest rap albums to ever be released. That's my one wish. All right. There's been some messages that has been leaked by Chris Blake Griffith, a clothing designer, between him and Drake. So people have been posting these messages all over Twitter, and I was confused. I didn't know what these messages meant. I didn't know why Chris Blake Griffith the third that it sounds like the third is supposed to come out. Chris Blake Griffith the third. It sounds like a suffix is supposed to come after his name. Like this is Mr. Griff. No, never mind. Anyway, Chris. We're gonna call him Chris. Cause I don't know at the time I didn't know what prompted him to like release these messages. So I'm just seeing people post these messages and be like, "Ooh, Drake's in trouble. Ooh, Drake did X, Y, and Z." And I'd be like, "Why people post these messages? What do these even mean?" And there was long ass messages. Niggas was sending paragraphs and soliloquies and all of that shit, monologues. Niggas was sending monologues to each other. Like, goddamn. Like, all right, brother. Me and the homies don't even text like that. Like, goddamn, y'all ain't even do. And these was over Instagram text. Y'all sending damn essays over Instagram DMs. That's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna read as much as I can, and I'm gonna read some of the messages, not all of the messages, but I'm gonna read some of the messages that are causing people to be in outrage. All right, so. May 29, 2023, Chris Blake Griffith, a clothing designer, was attacked and robbed by Stephon Diggs, NFL player, his brother, and two friends. Stephon Diggs apparently tried to make a zesty move on him, Chris, and he turned him down. So Diggs sent his brother and his friends to take him out. By a zesty move, it just means that Stephon Diggs tried to make a sexual move on Chris. That's it. That's all. But luckily, Chris escaped. The perpetrators got arrested and eventually had to do some community service. Enter Drake. Chris has designed clothing for Drake for his OVO brand and have some history. Drake has some evidence of sort that will help Chris further his legal battle against Stephon Diggs. So Chris asked Drake for help, but Drake declined. So far, nothing too crazy. The connection between the two got heated, and Drake apparently called him a rat, which prompted Chris to leak some DMs on his Instagram between him and Drake. The shocker on the DM was the message that Drake is insinuating that LeBron might have cheated on his wife Savannah. Let's pause and just take a break. Wow, that was a lot of information that we just got, right? Man, Chris done got beat up. Stephon Diggs, the NFL player, sent his friend and his brother to beat up Chris because Stephon tried to do a zesty move on Chris, and Stephon was scared that Chris was going to come out and be like, "Oh, he tried to do some weird stuff to me," and da-da-da. So they beat him up to shut him up, but Chris ended up coming out and saying the stuff anyway, asking Drake. It's a lot going on, right? It's a lot happening. But let's dive into these messages. I'm guessing this is after Drake had already said, "Nah, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to snitch," or whatever the case may be. Chris sent this whole long ass message to Drake, basically saying, dang, he unfollowed me. Chris was playing views back in his college days. He stood outside of the code, outside of his shows. He used to do stuff for Javante Davis. Chris used to do stuff for Javante Davis. I think he used to design Javante Davis or whatever. Or he designed some OVO shorts for Javante Davis for the Conor McGregor fight. And he was like, "Man, when Javante and his team told me that I was dick eating you and all this other stuff, I was going out to support you, even when y'all was bullshitting me, even when, I was giving y'all free tickets to the fights out of my own pockets and my own money, whoop. He was like, "Man, I'm just hurt that you not helping me with this." And he ends it with, "You heard a fan today, broski. God bless. Hope your best days are ahead. Forever grateful, CB." So that's the gist of what he was saying. Again, if you want to read it, go ahead. It's on Twitter. It's everywhere. You can go find it. But it's a lot to read, and I am not reading all of that. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I don't got nothing else to do. Damn, gang. Unfollow me from college days playing views on repeat with the volume turned all the way up, down in my sleep, in hopes to helping you attain another number one, to tatting an owl on my skin, which is crazy. If I'm not gonna lie, that is crazy. From standing outside your shows in the cold with my baby broski, whose OVO deal fell through the cracks after coming through Toronto to link with 40 at SOTA Studios, SOTA. Anyway, at the studio, to arguing with Javante about charging $0 to put OVO Owl merch on the shorts when he fought on the undercard of the Mayweather McGregor undercard fight, simply because I saw the vision from always offering tickets to all the OVO guys for every fight I pay out of pocket for because Javante will say they got the money, to then having Preem pissed at me for requesting a pair of signed gloves and not getting them despite me spending my own money on gloves for Preem and your whole team that Javante refused to sign unless I asked you to send a pic of the signed shorts I have framed and gifted to you for your B-Day. He thought slash thinks you disposed of them. Even when I flew from Baltimore to LA and dropped the shorts off to you, my personal team at GTD, that's Javante Davis, that's Tank's like company, his like team or whatever, said I was dick riding and I was merely showing love as I paid for the framing, the flights, the lodging out of my own pocket because G was against it. I'm not your op champ. You hurt a fan's feelings today, broski. God bless. Blah blah blah. All right. Drake goes on to respond and says, "You asked me to post a tape about you ratting on people, G. I just don't really come from that. God damn, Lee." Drake responds. He says, "You asking me to post a tape about you ratting on people, G. I just don't really come from a family or a friend group or a city where that's acceptable. I live by code that's become law. We all just got to deal with our own shit off of here. Not telling you to be no super gangster or telling you what to do, but it made me feel super weird. You would think I would do something or support that type of shit." A nigga, Chris responds to that saying, a nigga tried me on some gay shit while I was designing his collection and styling him. Stefan Diggs. I didn't go, and then he sent two niggas to off me at my crib to support his secrets. That's not ratting, champ. I survived the hit and he had money on my head, so I spoke up. Drake ends up sending another fucking monologue saying this, and this is the last message, and then we're going to dive deep into it. He says, "I mean, I don't know the details, fam. I'm just showing you outside perception. I think there's a better way to go about it. That's my opinion. Me and Universal is like if Nike..." Oh, he also alluded to like this being similar to like his Universal thing, right? So Drake says, "Me and Universal is like if Nike was funding a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife. Not Adidas or Reebok. Nike, the company he's been with since he started. My situation is not no street shit. Everybody before me that tried the label was too eccentric, so they wrote them off as crazy, and they never had to pay for their sins and mistakes. I'm going to change that and make the building a safer place for every artist moving forward. Your shit is personal, involves violence, and I just think the way that you're doing it makes you look crazy. That's my opinion. You don't need to listen to it. I just think that if all you are saying is true, there's better ways to handle it other than dropping a tape." All right. People don't really care that Drake didn't help him with the snitching thing. People don't really care about that, right? People are and was going crazy because Drake came out, and this happened 2 days ago. This all came out 2 days ago. It feels like way longer than that, but it all happened 2 days ago. So people were going crazy, basically, about Drake saying the whole thing about this is him and Universal is like if Nike's funding a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife. And people are saying that, oh, Drake is exposing LeBron for cheating. Drake is basically saying that LeBron cheated on his wife, X, Y, and Z, right? And I don't know if you guys can read, or I don't even know if you guys know what's happening with Drake and UMG. But I don't think, but at the same time, I can see how you guys think that Drake is saying that LeBron has cheated on his wife and is cheating on his wife, whatever the case may be. But that is not what Drake is saying here. Drake is saying that, so in this case, Drake is LeBron. UMG is Nike. Drake is claiming that UMG did a campaign smearing his name through the mud with false allegations saying that he is a predator of sexual assault, right? He's a predator and what is it? A pedophile. There you go. That's the name. So that is the claim. UMG is dragging Drake's name through the mud with false allegations of him being a pedophile. With Drake's example that he uses in these messages, Nike is UMG. Nike is UMG. LeBron is Drake. He's saying that's like if Nike took false allegations of LeBron cheating on his wife and did a whole smear campaign around it to tarnish LeBron's name. the company that he's been with his whole career. Not the rival company, but the company that he is on. It's not like Warner or Sony doing that to Drake. It's the company that he is on, that he has been on his entire career, that company smearing his name through the mud. He's saying that the allegations are false. That's what he's saying. He's saying that they're saying not true things about him, and that's why he's fighting it. He's not saying that LeBron is cheating on Savannah. And so after reading that and after realizing that and being like, oh, this is not what Drake is saying at all, I sat down and I had to really think, oh, y'all just don't like this nigga. Y'all just don't like him. And it gets to a point where I understand. I get it. Y'all don't like him. I don't like niggas too. There's a lot of people I don't like, but when does it become dick eating and not just you not liking the person? Because this is dick eating. And this specific page claims that they're Kendrick fans and claims that they are Kendrick fan. This specific page, I mean the page that I'm getting all this information from, they're claiming that they're a Kendrick fan. They're claiming that they are a supporter of Dot, but they post a lot about Drake. They post way more about Drake than they do about Dot. Actually, I don't even remember any of them talking about Dot at all, which is crazy and weird. But hey, you know, haters gonna hate, I guess. But to me, that's crazy and that's dick eating. If you don't like somebody, you don't gotta purposely misunderstand. Somebody saying that Drake is insinuating that LeBron has cheated on his wife. That's not what he's saying. And all you have to do is read. Reading is fundamental. That's all you have to do. And I promise you, reading will save you so much time and angst. It will save you so much. But a lot of you just don't and won't do that. So moving on, possibly afraid of repercussions of the DMs, Drake went to shut it down. So he contacted academics to tell him that the DMs are fake. As soon as academics heard the confirmation from Drake, he quickly posted on X that the DMs were fake and that Chris is only using this to get clout. Most of the news outlets posted that the DMs quickly deleted once academics announced Drake himself told ACT that the DMs were fake. However, Chris, extremely furious for not only being called a rat but also a liar, posted a video. The video shows that the DMs are in fact real and that Drake lied to academics to try to cover up the stuff he said about LeBron and LeBron's wife Savannah. All right. Now, this is the part I don't understand. I don't understand this part. Why would you sit here and say that these weren't true? Why would you say that? What point is there to do that? Why would you sit up here and say, oh, yeah, these aren't true, X, Y, and Z, these are false? Why would you get ACT to go out and say that these are false or whatever the case may be? Like, I don't understand that, because in my opinion, you didn't say anything wrong. So if you're not saying anything wrong, and if you're just saying, hey man, I don't feel comfortable with helping you snitch, or I don't feel comfortable with helping you rat, and that's like if this company did this with that person, you can't really compare apples to oranges and you know all of these things, why are you apologizing or why are you deleting messages where you're, in my opinion, you're not in the wrong and you didn't say anything bad? You feel guilty about saying something. You have to, because that's the only thing that makes sense to why you are going to academics and telling him that these messages are fake. That's number one. Number two, what tape do you have that's going to help Chris in this case? That's number two. And three, why are you always in the middle of some tea? You're always in the middle of some tea, Drake. You are so messy. Drake, you are messy boots. You are always in the middle of some tea. Bro, drop a song or something. Stop being in the middle of this. This don't got nothing to do with you. You gotta chill, dog. You gotta chill, because you're always in the middle of something. It's like, how does it always, how is it always you? It's always you. And it's like this stuff only happens to you. We literally can't make this up. It feels like this only happens to you as a rapper. You're always caught up in some beef, always caught up in some stuff. How are you caught up in a thing that has absolutely nothing to do with you? How? Drake, you have to learn. Drake, you know what? And I feel bad. I feel bad for Drake. I do. Because the world is super split on him. Either you hate him or you love him. Either you want him to rapidy rap or you want him to make reels, or want him to make the pop records, right? You want him to shut up or you want him to keep talking. The world is split and nobody knows what they want him to do until he does it. But in the end all of it is really only hurting his fans. This is really just hurting his fans. It's really only hurting the people who actually love Drake's music, who sit and listen and love and enjoy his music. This is really only hurting them because he is feel like he's being pulled in 5 different directions and he doesn't know what to do. And then we were supposed to get that Party Next Door album last year, but it is now 2025, January 11th, January 12th when this is put out, and still no sign of a Party Next Door album. No life from that album. No nothing from that album. Not even a title of the album. There's nothing from that. Which my guess is UMG is stepping all over that release, and that album is not coming out at all. Because now Drake is putting out this lawsuit. So for all of those people that are waiting for this P&D and Drake album, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is more than likely not coming. It is more than likely not happening. I really feel bad for Drake. I do. However, at the same time, I do believe that this is a part of the karma. This is part of what he gets for doing all of those things to all of those people way back in the day. So I do think this is part karma, but I also do feel really bad for the boy. So yeah, Drake, you'll bounce back. You always do, but this, I'm not going to sit up here and say that this doesn't look good because this doesn't really look like anything to me. But I will say that you just need to, just relax. This is making you. I seen you cut your hair. I seen your hairline. It wasn't looking too sharp. I think it's just time for you to relax. It's time for you to relax, take a chill pill, take a break, and leave all these folks alone. Leave these folks alone. Next thing on the docket, Ray Vaughn. If you don't know who Ray Vaughn is, hey. If you don't know who Ray Vaughn is, hey, I don't blame you. But he is an amazing rapper, very talented rapper who is signed to TDE. And when I say he's an amazing rapper, very talented rapper, I actually really mean that. He's a super, super talented guy. He can rap his butt off. And he showed that he can rap his butt off with this The Heart Part 6 freestyle that he did. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to find the lyrics for y'all so we can break these things down. Yeah. The Heart freestyle. Boom. So yeah, we're going to look at this, The Heart 6 freestyle, and I like this. I like his diss track because, well, this diss is called Crash Out Heritage. I like this because I like the beef, right? I love rappers calling each other out. I love rappers coming and being like, hey, I don't like what you did here. I don't like what you did here. I think this is some bitch ass shit that you did here. Woo, 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 right? And this is in response to a lot of people who has been dissing, and specifically Kendrick Lamar. So this is in response to Joey Badass. This is in response to Tory Lanez. This is he talks about Maul on here. So we're going to talk about this, right? We're going to break this down. Here we go. Look, courage come from niggas whose minds in the middle of nowhere. It's monsters where I'm from. If you stuck, you try and go there. Uncle was crack, cocaine in his nose hairs, getting high with the low fares. No Jordans, just pro kids. You see what we see, like his rapping ability, right? Very good. All right, here we go. What's with sneak distance, taking shots at us to hide the Uzi? Cause the only badass the world was recognizing is Boosie. Hey now. Please don't get confused. They shooting the movies we really shooting. Was on Soul album. So if you ask me, you look like a goofy. I hope this message reached you as well. And Tori, you should be ashamed of yourself because DDG needed to sell. You did a verse from a sale. Before you went to jail in the booth, me and you was Keenan and Kale. Stranger things happen on the mic and nigga beef over L's. That's a bar. Stranger things happen on the mic when niggas beef over L's. That's a bar. Don't think you shot her. I was praying for your freedom as well. You loyal to rappers in your early days. You beef with as well. If you ain't friendlies in the 6, then we gonna blick you as well. Should have did 60 days for your podcast. I treat Maul like the orders from Temu. He get boxed bad. All right. He get boxed bad. When it seemed like everyone hated us, how can we not crash? The Pop Out did something for niggas who don't got dads. Watch us make stock cash. Kids play with cap guns. Last year was Act 1. I'm so that nigga Black Gums. I came from chicken flat drums. This TikTok crash out slang is for the right one. Our crash out's gonna do shit that you'll never come back from. He can rap, and he can rap very good. But Ray Vaughn, you said a whole lot of just to sit up here and rap against people who, in my opinion, are not in the same league as you, sir. Listen, I would have liked this better if I knew you for a song, not this. I would have respected this way more. The reason why Joey was so hard is because we know and love Joey, and we respect Joey and his body of work. Ray Vaughn, I'm new to you, so maybe I'm just sleeping. And again, I'm an East Coast guy, so the West Coast music scene to me isn't as active over here as it is over there for very obvious reasons. But I can't listen to you, Ray Vaughn, talk this talk because yes, you are a very talented rapper, but I need to see what you have done or what you are doing. So where's a project, a song, something that I can listen to that I can be like, oh, nah, this guy, not only can he rap, but he can make songs, he can make hits, he knows song structure, all of these things. But until then, you're just another guy with a mic that's just dissing the other guys that are at the top guys, right? And also, I don't understand why you're doing this. Why are you doing this? You guys won. The West won. Why are you doing this? Why are any of y'all doing this? Why are people... Rory said something on the Rory and Maul podcast, and he asked reason, why are y'all such sensitive winners? Y'all are so sensitive to be winning. Y'all won. Who cares? Y'all won. Nothing else matters because you won the beef. So whoever else has to say this and whoever else has to say that about the West and the West Coast X, Y, and Z, it doesn't matter because you won the beef. So inevitably, everything that we have to say, nobody cares because the winners already won. Do your victory lap. Do your victory laps. Multiple because you deserve it. And then go on somewhere. Roy also said this. When Kendrick was rapping in Euphoria, he said something about nobody likes the West Coast. And Roy was like, who ever said they didn't like the West Coast? That's what I was trying to figure out for the whole beef, Rory. That's what I was trying to figure out. Who said that they didn't like West Coast music? Who said that? Who was saying these things? Point me in that direction. I want to go there. I want to go to that direction. Now, does the West Coast get as much respect as it deserves? No. But you niggas equate respect with love. And that's where you will never find it. You guys equate respect with love. Does it give the respect it deserves? No. But people love West Coast music. And I think the reason West Coast music doesn't get the respect it deserves is just because it's a West Coast thing. Like, the East Coast has its own thing that just so happened to branch off. The West Coast has its thing, and it's just a West Coast thing. And niggas are mad and sitting here like, oh, well, nobody respects the West Coast. Nobody likes the West Coast. That's not true. Y'all are being delusional. People are saying they don't like artists from the West Coast, same way people are saying they don't like artists from the East Coast. but nobody's sitting up here and saying, hey, we hate the West. Nobody is saying that's delusion. That's sick. That's sick. Those are voices in your head telling you that, and you need to stop. You need to. What did Stephen A. lay off the weed? Lay off the weed. That is not. That shit is not healthy. Those are not healthy thoughts that y'all are thinking. Nobody hates the West Coast. Vaughn, you're a very talented rapper. I just think that this was a huge misstep. However, if you can get people outside, and if you can get people to rap and to talk back and to do all of these things, then hey, shout out to you. Big shout out to you. Huge kudos to you for doing that. However, I just don't think that you're the guy to be doing this. I don't think that you're the guy to be doing this. Joey is the guy to be doing this because we know Joey by his body of work. I don't know you by your body of work. I can name 5 Joey songs. I can't name 5 Vaughn songs. Hold on. Let's see. But again, I'm not saying this to discredit him as an artist. I'm not saying that he's a bad artist or a bad rapper. No. See, every time I type in Vaughn, the LA Leakers freestyle pops up. Why? Why? Not an album, not a mixtape, not a feature. No, every time I type in Vaughn, LA Leakers freestyle pops up. And that just is what it is. Oh, you don't have any albums out. You only have like singles out. Okay, cool. Heard you. All right, cool. No, that's solid. I'm not mad at that. So yeah. Listen, I'm not going to sit up I'm not going to sit up here and say that you're a bad artist because you're not. Obviously, you're super duper talented because we heard you rap and it was amazing raps, amazing songs. However, I just need more from you before I hear you dissing people. It's like I can't take the diss seriously because it's like, who is this nigga? It's like the little brother trying to show up the big brothers and shit. Like, it's like, little nigga, sit down somewhere. This is for the adults. Like, nigga, stay at the kids table. Like, once you put out your first album, then you can come talk to the adults. But right now, you're at the kids table. I'm at the kids table too with this pod shit. I'm at the kiddie table with this pod shit. So I understand how it feels wanting to be with the big dogs and seeing that you can compete with them and seeing that you can run with them. But at the same time, them niggas looking at you like, come on, little nigga, sit down. Just take notes, right? Come on. To get my coffee, little nigga. It's kind of like that. So I'm not saying that I didn't like it. I loved it. Again, you can rap your ass off. I'm not saying that I didn't like it. I loved it. But I'm saying that this probably wasn't the move that you thought it was going to be. But at the same time, I don't know what you thought it was going to be. I'm surprised that TDE even allowed you to release this shit, to be honest, because TDE be like, hey, peace, love, positivity. We just worry about releasing the music. So I'm surprised TDE even let you release this shit, shooting. But yeah, shout out Vaughn. I wish nothing but success in love for your future career. Again, you're very talented, can rap your ass off, right? Like, some of these bars were crazy. Like hold on. The bars themselves weren't crazy, but like the way he did, like the rhyme scheme was crazy. Like, kids play with cap guns. Last year was Act 1. I'm so that nigga black gums. Came for chicken, flat drums. This TikTok crash out slang is not the right one. Our crash out's gonna do shit that you can never come back from. Like, that was tough. That was tough. Our crash out's gonna do shit that you can never come back from. That's a caption. That's a caption. That was tough. But again, I just think right message, wrong nigga. Like, right message, wrong nigga. If you handed that to somebody else who was like that guy in the West. But would I like another West Coast, East Coast hip hop feud thing? Sure, why not? I would like to see one in my lifetime while I'm alive. That would be in my lifetime, no Jay-Z. That would be very entertaining. Last thing on the docket, I've been on this pod for way too long, 40 minutes. Jeez. Let's talk about this Billboard top. I keep saying Billboard. Let's talk about this Rolling Stone top 10 albums of the 21st century, thing real quick. So I'm going to read off these top 10 hip hop albums and tell me what you think in the comments. Number 1, Think Only About Outkast. Number 2, Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. 3, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye. 4, Blueprint 1 by Jay-Z. 5, Under Construction, Missy Elliott. 6, Take Care, Drake. 7, The Carter 3, Lil Wayne. Mad Villainy, MF Doom and Madlib. 9, To Pimp a Butterfly, K. Dot. 10, Marshall Mathers, LP, Eminem. I'm not too mad at this list. There's a lot of people that's mad saying, oh, Drake's too low, To Pimp a Butterfly is too low, X, Y, and Z. I'm not mad at this list. I agree all around. These are amazing albums. These are fucking legendary albums. Like I would say that to me, this is like a hip hop starter pack. Like if you're just starting to get into hip hop and you want to know what the genre of hip hop is, like what real hip hop is, good songwriting, good rapping, just good storytelling, all of this stuff, I would say listen to these albums, right? I feel like Stankonia, I feel like Good Kid, Mad City, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, To Pimp a Butterfly, all tell like an amazing story. I feel like Under Construction, Take Care, Mad Villainy kind of pushed the envelope a little bit. I feel like Marshall Mathers LP, The Carter 3, Blueprint, all are like top tier raps. So hey, do what you want with that information. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Our Spot Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Before we get out of here, I will give y'all my Dead or Alive. Now, what is Dead or Alive? Dead or Alive is the segment on the podcast where me or the artist on the pod gets to choose the other artists that we would like to work with that is Dead or Alive. Now, we can choose one artist. We can choose 100 artists. This is my pod. I'm going to do whatever I want. Dead or Alive, Dead or Alive, Dead or Alive. Who's the best MC? Cole, Kenny, and Drake. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Our Spot Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Our Spot Podcast. If y'all listening to this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a pod. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. If, no. Yeah, that's it. Oh, no. Yes, if you are able to, again, please help the folks out in LA by any means possible. If you, again, only if you are able to. If you're not, totally understand. Remember that artists never die. I love you. God loves you. Do something that you love every single day. Do it meaning, do it passion, do it purpose, do it well. I will see y'all when I see y'all, boys. Peace, love, and happiness. Let me edit this pod and watch this game. I am out.